Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. Bam! Um, I'm Dee Dee, and this morning I'm going to be working in Irene by Nicholas, and I never can say his real name, Chandrawinata. I know that's not right. He goes by Nick Filbert. Nick Filbert is what he goes by on IG and any place online. But anyway, so this is my new book by him that Melody sent, and I've already base coated everything with markers, with alcohol markers. I have Copics, Hoo Hoo Heroes, Blick, all different alcohol markers. But these are the colors. I have a yellow and a gold kind of color. And again, I'm gonna, probably any place that it's gold, I'll probably put some either stickle, shimmer, glitter, something on the gold. Her face is done with. I have all the set. Well, actually, I think I have two sets of the Copic Chow skin tones. The set. This is more than just the one set, but you can get a set of skin tones at Michael's and use a 40% off coupon. So her skin's with these. And then the green is two hoo-hoos in a just kind of a emerald green and a lime green. I'm not going to tell you all because unless you have all these different brands, I'm just going to kind of generalize it. I got two cool grays here for the grays, but I've only used just the light one, kind of a blue gray. I think it's called green gray for the back of the gray you see, and then two purples, a lavender and a deep purple, and that's what you see with the purple. So I got them all base coated. So what I'm going to do is start shading and I've already started shading a little bit of blue around her eyes, but that's pretty much it. Maybe a little bit on her edge of her skin here. I got a little bit of blue, a gray blue, and so I'm going to be playing with the Polychromo set to just look at all the loveliness and to get used to them, because I want to really learn how to use them well. And I've only used, I have a couple of individuals that I've had for a while, but never really messed with them. And that's cute, Muse. And so I'm going to just set these to the side. I'll tell you what colors I use as I pick them, but I don't really do that very well. The reason I don't do color names and numbers, for one, it's hard to see them without a magnifying glass for me. So every time I'd switch pencils, I'd have to, like here's some purples we're going to use. So, I'd have to get out a magnifying glass. Some of them are easy to see when they're gold color on the dark, but some of them are light color on light pencils. I cannot see that. I can't read that. It's too light. And so I'm not going to stop and tell you every time I use a pencil what color it is and what number it is. I just can't do that. It won't be fun for me. So sorry. But anyway, so I have a little sheet here where it's my cardstock to protect, because this is alcohol markers that will go through. Okay. So I have a little sheet here to test colors on. And that's probably not quite red enough. Let's see. That one's better. And they are a harder pencil. They're oil-based, and so it's going to be a learning curve for me to shade and blend and layer these. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so I want this color, and do I want the kind of maybe a medium? Let's see, do I want this one? Probably. See, I'm already feeling the difference just doing this. Okay, so those are the two purples that I'm going to start with to start layering some shading. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we're a little closer on the on the, and she's the right color, although my skin is way tan. But anyway, so that at least you can see the coloring. That's the important thing. All right, so I'm going to start with these. Uh-oh, my pencils just all fell out of the tray. That means it's time to put them in a pencil case. They're now all out of order. Okay, don't freak. It's okay. I'm going to pet them back into the tray here so they don't roll away. So I'm going to just start doing some shading here. And we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm on top of alcohol markers. And very, very, very light pressure. And you can see it's going down nice. Maybe you can see. Can you see that? Y'all let me know what you can see and what you can't, because I can readjust things. So I'm just going to shade. And, you know, on these color books, there's usually line art, you know, or grayscale that you can kind of see where the artist did their own shading. So you have a guideline to kind of follow. Hey, Elk Lady, it's been a while. So I'm just going to get in here and do a little shade. I'm not having any pressure, not putting any pressure. It's just going right nice. It's going right nice on top of the alcohol markers. So I just want to get a little bit of shading in there. Can y'all see that? I don't even know that I'm going to need another lighter color right at this moment. I think just this color is doing fine with what I've already got down. And then on Monday, I think we have plans to work in the, and I didn't get a chance to show, I talked about showing the napkin journal on Wednesday, but I didn't get time. We ran out of time to show the napkin journal that we work in. I mean, most of you guys here have seen it. And if you're watching the recording on YouTube, thanks for watching. There's a live chat with a mostly awake chat. I do stream early for, especially if it's people like on the West Coast. I stream 9 Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday and Wednesday, and the occasional Friday. This being one of those occasional Fridays. So thanks for watching if you're watching the recording. So, back to the napkin journal. So everybody's asking me to do a fall, Halloween, or some kind of a October page in the napkin journal. And it has been some weeks, maybe couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months since we worked in the napkin journal. Thanks, 3G, and good morning, by the way. So if I can remember and have, because I get carried away on one project and, you know, I forget about showing something else. But we're going to work on that on Monday. So I'm just adding some shading in here on top of the purple. Still keeping a lot of the lavender color from the marker. So I thought this would just be one. This is one that I've been working on, just base coating with the alcohol marker. And I say alcohol markers, that's not just saying Copics, because I'm not using just Copics. I'm using Hoo Hoo Hero, Blick, any old alcohol marker in my color book here. So, and if you didn't see, I'm working in Irene. So, if y'all have any questions or want to talk about what y'all are going to do this weekend, any projects you're working on, I have a lot on my list. I have Post-it notes. Oh, and I do got to tell you this. I do have an idea for the new year. I wanted to tell y'all about it, but I thought, no, I can't, because It's to then I'll start wanting to do it, and I want it to be a New Year project, like 2018 project. So that being said, I do have a 2018 project in the works. So I even have a name for it. I don't know if I want to tell y'all the name because it's still a couple months away. Well, actually, November, December. Yeah, it's like two and a half months away till the new year. Can y'all believe that already? It's already getting to almost to be Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the new year. You're going to Florence, as in Italy? This weekend, Francis? I'm not sure where you are. You must be in Europe then. I can't remember. Leah wants to finish her portrait you've been working on for it too long. Who's it a portrait of? So I'll try to back up on the pencil so you can kind of see where I'm going here. Because there's no pressure at all. No pressure, very light. Italy. You're in the UK. Okay, well, fun. Take lots of pictures to share. Francis, are you on Twitter or IG or something so we can see pictures you share? So all the little line cross-hatching that Nick Filbert put on here, I'm just kind of going along and following his shading and shading with the purple on top. See, I'm barely, no pressure, guys. I mean, it's like this. Look, I'm just doing like that. And the marker is picking it up just fine. Hey, Dot. I'm drawing a Japanese musician. Second time already I'm practicing with him. Oh, fun, Leah. Leah did a little Abby of me. I need to, I wish my phone would pick up. When I put it under the camera, it just flashes out. Even when I put right light and all that, I don't know. It's almost like I have to have it on the iPad, and then sometimes that's even a strain. Janet said, after Francis goes to Italy, I guess my trip to the Walmarts is just no big deal. Oh my gosh, Janet. Janet, but they do have, the Walmart does have those flare pen markers, flares. You know what flares are. In the new, like, ice cream colors or whatever that's called, pop something. I forgot. But I wanted to tell you about it, but I didn't want to buy it because they were $25. They were $25. I mean, if they were at, Hobby Lobby, and they may be, I have to look around. If they're at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, where I could use a 40% off coupon, but $25 for some flare markers? Isn't that a little high? Is it just me? I haven't bought a flare for so long. But they did have them over in the school supply section. Can y'all see that little bit of shading in there? Or do I need to zoom in even more? I don't know. I'm doing tiny bits here. You're going with frozen pizza today, Janet? I don't know. I might want, my favorite's Pizza Hut. Deep dish, pan, double pepperoni, jalapeno peppers on the side, bell peppers on it. Hubster likes, we usually do a half and half because he likes other things like hamburger and mushroom. I don't want all that. I just want give me some double pepperoni and some pepper. Hey, Army Linda. You have the multiple sets of the flares. You do love them. Well, the pop colors. I forgot what they're called, pop or ice cream or something like that. They're new colors. They're at Walmart. Just saying. So if you go to the Walmarts, go over there and look for them, Janet. You'll be enticed. And, and I'm not even Eileen. Enabling you. Okay, so kind of liking that up in here. So I'm just going to kind of come on down here into her outfit. Hey, Crusty Brush. How you doing? So I'm going to just keep shading here on the purple with the... And what I'm finding here is it's not leaving on top of the marker. I'm not seeing a lot of pencil lines. So it's like I'm not even going to really have to blend this, I don't think. I mean, it's just kind of laying down really flat for me. With Prismas, you have to kind of blend them together. But right now, just laying a shadow on top of this purple, I can't see the pencil line. Now, I probably could over here. Not as much, though. It's pretty smooth. But being on top of the marker, have you tried that yet, Janet? Have you tried using your polys on top of marker yet? Or, well, I was going to ask Eileen, but, Eileen's probably swatched them. So, what I'm saying is when I'm putting this shadow down, I'm not going to have to go in there with a lavender to try to blend them. It's laying down nice. Just on its own. Did you find? Yeah, she found them. Eileen found them. I saw Papermate in that link, so that she found those flares. Eileen, you're awesome. We love to do that to old Janet, don't we? The reason I bought my pots in the day was to use them over cocoa. Yeah, it's laying down real nice. It's not like in other words, if I was going to do shading on top of alcohol markers with, say, Prisma, I'd have to do this and then feather it with the lighter color to get rid of any pencil line. But this is laying down pretty nice. I don't think I'm gonna have to. Let's see if it even makes a difference. Not a lot, because this color is almost the exact same color as the Copic. That's why I picked it. But no, it's fine. I don't think I'm going to need to do that. I just put the shadow in. We'll try it on another color, like the gray. It's lighter. Might be able to tell more difference. The flares are $35 on Amazon. I think they were $25 at Walmart. Or as Janet calls it, the Walmarts. So I didn't get them. I'm thinking, well, I at least got to try to see if they're at Michael's or Hobby Lobby with the coupon. Can y'all see the difference between this and this? See where I put the shading in there and none over here? I think one of the issues I had with Prismas, you're so used to, yeah, see, you're used to the polys. I'm used to the Prismas. So it's like, it is a learning curve when you switch from the wax-based to these oil-based, But I'm liking it. I mean, it's fine over here on top of the marker. Plus, I got a couple books I want to read. Yeah. What suffers the most with doing so much art is my reading. My, fiction and, I still do research and I do quite a bit of reading on, Not a lot of fiction, though. I really don't read much fiction at all anymore. But, I got the new Dan Brown, and I got a couple others. One that Denise from New Jersey recommended for me that I've had for a couple months now. And so I really do need to do some catch up on reading. So if y'all have any questions or comments, just put them in caps so I know you're talking to me. And just lightly doing the shadows here and there. It's just so, for me, I think it's just so much more, for me, fun and faster to base coat your pages, whether it's with marker, watercolor, acrylic paint, whatever you use as a background or as a base coat. It just, then when you go to put your pencils on it, whatever kind you use, it's just so much quicker and more satisfying because you see things come together so much quicker. Hey, Suzanne, isn't it a lovely day in the ATL today? It's just, I just love base coating, and ever since I started coloring, I started really with acrylic paints, base coat, washing things in backgrounds and painting background solid with acrylic paint. And then I started using, like Neocolor 2s and some watercolor and markers now as base coat to pencil on top of. It's just so much faster and so much more enjoyable to work on top, shading on top of a base, a flat base, regardless of whatever medium you're using as your base. I know, it's so nice, isn't it, Suzanne? One of these days, girl, gotta get you down here. And Darcy, too. I haven't had Darcy over in forever. But, everybody's really busy. Oh, if y'all follow me, did anybody see that Fight Like a Girl thing I posted on Facebook? The little girl doing the sword. That's not karate. I don't know what you'd call it when you she did a demo of sword with a sword exhibition and kicks and all that. But anyway, it was awesome. That girl, she reminded me of Boo. Taking a few. Oh, that would be nice. Maybe you could come down. We could do a Christmas project. Suzanne, we could do some kind of Christmas project. Okay, wait. Now, here's a tip. When you have your paper behind, because, alcohol markers, and also, now I'm not putting any pressure on these pencils, but anytime you want to, if you put any pressure, it's going to come through, and you don't want to get it on the next page. Well, but I had this up here a little bit like this, so when I started shading here, I was getting a line from the edge, like a rubbing. So make sure you don't have your paper leaving a mark because of the edge. Yeah, we'd have to do some kind of a Christmas project or something. I already have my New Year project for next year ready. I mean, not done, not made, but I have the idea for what the next New Year. Renata, are those the flare markers? The URL didn't come through. I don't think links are open. But you're saying, is that the flare markers, the pop colors? Um, $29.99. But see if you can use a 40% off coupon. That's cheaper than 25 at Walmart. Do I like the Jane Davenport color pencils? They're okay. To me, a lot of people say they're just like Prismas. But I've used Prismas for 30 years. To me, they're not like Prismas. They're not bad pencils. But, you know, they're not as soft and blendable to me as the Prismas. That's just me. But there's nothing wrong with them. They're not a bad pencil. Don't get me wrong. Don't email me. Don't go over there and tell Jane I didn't like her pencils. So you see how soft this is just going on, and I'm no pressure at all, and it's laying down so easily. Now, when I say this is laying down very easily, I'm also not trying to blend colors together. From what I understand, and maybe Erin, you know, I don't know, she has an explanation, but I've had people tell me you have to layer them. They don't blend like wax pencils. You have to layer one on top of the other and not kind of mix. And I don't even know if that makes sense. So. But as far as just shading, look how smooth that is. See how smoothly that's going down? As a shade, they just lay nice and flat. Nice and flat. But I'm not trying to blend two colors together. I don't know enough about the less expensive brands to compare. The pencils I have are all the higher end ones. My Prismas, well, I do have some Crayola. I have some Crayola ones. I would say Jane's are better than Crayola, but how much better, I can't really judge. Because I'm used to using, I've grown up on Prisma, and that's the most inexpensive one that I'm used to using compared to the Polys, the Lumis, the Holbees. You know? Which none of those am I proficient in. So people have asked me, well, what do you think of how do the Holbees compare to the Prisma? I mean the Poly, I can't do that comparison, guys. I haven't used them enough to say. You know what I mean, Vern? I don't use them enough to say. Erin says, I don't know, I guess I was using the Prismas wrong. I always layer with any kind of pencil. Okay, so you're always layering. And that's probably because you're used to the Polys, right? With the layering. Where with the Prismas, I blend. I blend colors together. Kind of like you saw on the way I did that ombre look on, here, let me get it. On Jasmine's page. See, this right here? This is blending colors together. That's not like, I didn't put down, in other words, this is what I did not do. I did not put down a layer of yellow, then a layer of red or orange, and then another layer of red. I didn't do that. I blended them together. They're not layered on top of each other. I mean, they are on top of each other, but they're more intertwined rather than just a flat layer like yellow, then orange, then red, then maroon. I took the two pencils and made them blend together. And so, and I may be being too technical in my description of layering versus blending, but that's just the only way I know how to describe it, you know. Yeah, but the thing is, when I'm using light layers with all my pencils, I light layer with all, I should say a light coat. When I say light layer, I should probably say, see, here's where terms, you know, get confused. Instead of saying light layers, I should say a light coat, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so you're flicking colors in together. I don't know if that's the difference between flicking, feathering, and blending. Yeah, you see? We all think we just have our own terms. We just all, that, I think that's maybe part of the problem. We all have different terms for the same, maybe the same process. I do my best to describe what I'm thinking while I'm using them and what I'm doing while I'm using them. And maybe I just don't do a, good enough description. I don't know. It is hard to explain, isn't it? It's kind of like mind mapping. You have to do it to get it, right? Okay, so I think I did pretty much all the dark purple in the whole thing, shading. And look, it's the pencil, the tip is a little dull, but I've not had to sharpen this one time. I did all the shading in the dark purple without even having to sharpen once. And that's because they're a harder pencil. And you can tell when you can just tell the feel, the difference between a harder pencil and say a Prisma, which to me is the softest. To me, I don't know of any pencil softer than the Prisma. But then, you got issues of, your sharp tip can snap off and it wears down faster. It wears down faster because you're having to sharpen them more. Okay, let me leave that out just in case I need it. And I can see the number on this one because it's gold on a dark. So this one it's called mauve, even though it's dark purple. To me, mauve or mauve is lighter color, but whatever. 9201-249 is what it is. And it's got the 3 stars for that. I guess that's pretty light fast. And I think, is it 4 stars that's the most, or is 3 stars the most? I need to read the little brochure again. I read it online some time ago, how much the light fastness is. The little stars tell you how light fast each color is. So, okay, now let's go on to the green. And again, I want 2 shades of green. I'm just going to stick with just a couple, just to get used to them. You can do 20 shades of color if you want. But I'm trying to just get used to the using of them. All right, so I'm going to get out a light green, which, can I see that color if I flick it? No, light, does it say light green? Light something? I can't see it without a magnifying glass. Okay, so it's the lightest green in the set. Next to the light, there's a light olive as well. But this is like the lightest lime color without going into yellow. And then I want, let me get a little thing here to test. I want, it's kind of an emerald green. Let's see what green, maybe this one. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go with Hooker's Green 920. Are they all 9201? I can't see that one. Maybe it's the second number, 159. Anyway, it's a dark green, but it's not like emerald. I mean, it's not like forest green. All right, so what I'm going to do, I do need a darker forest type green too. Let's see if that's this one. This one's pine green, yeah. Okay, so for I'm going to use the pine green, and I probably won't need it too much, but I'm probably going to get in here on my dark green marker and do the shade, and that's almost too exact. Do I have a darker one? Or do I have to go into a purple or something? Yeah, it's kind of tricky on these trays. All right, let's see if that's going to be dark enough. Maybe. I just want to do a little bit of shading like in the crevices of the dark green here. Leaving pretty much the color of the marker as because this is just the trim. It's like the the trim of the flower, the edges of the flowers. So it's not really a lot. just a little. And again, it's more about playing with the different pencil colors and seeing what they do. Because my Prismas, I could practically color in the dark. I couldn't probably tell you half the names and numbers. Well, I know I couldn't tell you the numbers. But I just know by looking at the pencil, the color and what it's going to do, what it's going to lay down, how it's going to, work, what colors work together, what layers together well. I just know my Prismas. And I'd like to know these that well too, but 3 stars on the Polyamine Maximum. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Erin. Okay, so. Well, here's the funny thing. We're using these, light fast, going to last for 100 years, light fast pencils on top of alcohol-based markers that probably last 5. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I just want to kind of get the very darkest green, just a little bit of shadow here and there on the dark trims. And you really can't even tell I've done it, so maybe down here, though, I do want to kind of blend this circular ball out some to make it look a little like an emerald crystal or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit down on it. But I'm able to just keep layering, if you will, just keep putting more pencil down, not hard pressure. To get your pencils darker, don't bear down. You want to just stay in one place and just go until it gets as dark as you want, rather than bearing down. I did miss a little bit of rope right there. I'll have to go back in there with a marker or a pencil of purple. Okay, let's see, got questions. I use pencils I use Copics, and it's all the same movement. Oh, all right, that was an earlier question. Kind of bring this up just a little further. I want to keep the roundness. So yeah, it's practice like anything else. And just get a little, and I got the next darkest, the Hooker's green next, so. All right. Maybe down here in these little crevices. All right, let me go ahead and move on to the next green. Let me put a test in my chat, make sure it's still rolling here. I've got to kind of remember to stay in camera. Okay, so now I'm going to start shading the light green with this medium green. And again, I'm doing the same thing I did on the purple. And this may not be as dark as I want it to be, but I'm going to start with this. And then if I need it darker, I'll get that emerald green that I had. What was it? See, this is pine green. This is why I don't do the color naming and stuff. I'd spend half the show just looking at names and numbers. So I'm just start shading. You're just being quiet. Okay, Melanie. And these little lines here, they're like almost like stamens. I'll probably go over that with Posca pen to make them stand out. These little like stamen type things. So, but I really like the feel of them. It's like just by doing this shading, it doesn't feel like any work at all to shade. I'm not having to be very conscious of pencil lines. Let me get down here. You know, leaving striations from the pencil. I'm not having to really think about that at all by going on top of marker. Now, that may not be true on other things, but just going on top of marker here, it's just laying down nice and smooth. And no pressure. So maybe I can get out a chat pack questions. Anybody up for that? Or is everybody chill this morning, not feel like, you know, chatting? And I probably do need to do some testing of these on, because, you know, I do my portraits on the toned tan Strathmore paper. And so I am anxious to test them on that. And like, I'll probably just do some like, you know, ovals about this big on the tan paper and test different skin tones and layering techniques and stuff like that with the polys. Gotta remember to stay in camera. Are we focused still, guys? It looks a little, let me maybe do a little adjusting here. Whoops, nope, not that. Let's get some focus and some. It got a little dark. There we go. I want it to stay crisp. Maybe a little brighter that way. That looks pretty good. Can you tell us anything else about the 2000 Pacola? You're a curious little one, aren't you? Not really. I can't really. And I don't want everybody starting to think about it right now. You know, it's like, let's wait till the new year. I really kind of want to wait. But I do have a planned out something. And it could go along with the Society of Idea Collectors. I mean, they can be kind of combined. See how quickly that's shading? Let's see. All right, so compare like this to this. See? You're thinking about it. Well, I might give hints as it gets closer, but it's a little too soon yet. But I do have a name for it, and Hubster thought it was a good name. Okay, so something like that. And like I said, because the pencil lays down so, it's not the word flat maybe, it lays down so smooth, I don't really need to get the lime green to make them two blend together. Does that, you know what I'm saying? With my Prismas, to get this dark color to feather into the lighter color, I'd have to have that lighter color. In other words, I'd have to have the lighter color to feather those two together, blend them together. But this is laying down so smoothly, it's almost like blending into the marker without a light color to help it. And the thing is my descriptions are probably not helping anybody that's never used a poly. And those that are using polys, they're probably thinking, I already have my own way, my own terminology for that. So either way, it's not helping, because people that use polys already know what they're doing. They don't need, a description of it. And those that haven't used polys, it probably doesn't make a bit of sense to you. Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. But I just try to talk it out. I try to talk out what I'm thinking and feeling with the pencils as I do it, Okay, so let's come over on this side. And some of you that have used them, if you have a better way of saying what I'm saying, feel free. It may not make sense to me the way you describe it, So I'm shading right now. Everything I'm doing right now is just shading. Did you watch part 2? No, I haven't had time. I haven't had time to watch Sebastian yet. I do know she's got it on. They're talking about Maridel, Mary Altier, the Mary Altier. She's doing that story of Sebastian the Spider, and I did see part 1. And it's so she went from a mind map to a story to an illustration, and she's illustrating and telling a story at the same time. And it was part 1 that I saw. See, can y'all tell the difference? Look, right there to there. See? But I just haven't had time. I haven't even had time to watch part 2 of Jean's watercolor from Monday. I watched part 1. I fell asleep to part 1, but I haven't had time to fall asleep to part 2. It makes it. Hey, Vaughn, is that you, Vonnie? Where have you been, girl? If that's Vonnie, I'm not sure if this Vaughn is our Vonnie. Speak up. Yeah, me too. I've only used the wax, and then I don't know, like I've used some, the off brands like, Crayola, and I'm assuming they're wax based as well, just less of it in there, so they're not as soft. Is that Vonnie 3G, Brenda? Oh, it's not our Vonnie. Okay. I mean, you're still welcome, Vaughn. But I haven't seen our Vonnie around for so long. But welcome, New Vaughn. New Vaughn. That sounds cool. New Vaughn. Hey, Azure. All right, so there I did those little balls, little like emerald things. See, I want those to be like this, just smaller, you know. Okay, let's go back up here into these petals. You're from Kentucky and homesick. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. We have a healing corner. You're welcome to go sit in it. Erin's usually over there. Not making fun of you, Erin. But Erin's usually over in the healing corner. She'll hold your hand over there. Won't you, Erin? Azure Muse and Prisma are the pillars of the poets. Eileen and Janet, well, other than being my mods, y'all know that. Y'all know what they are. Well, you know what happened? Somehow I got disconnected to Vonnie on Facebook. And of course I would never unfriend Vonnie, Janet. But somehow, maybe it was when I changed phones. I don't know what happened, but we were unfriended somehow. And so maybe she unfriended me. I don't know. But I tried to message her, and I don't know if she's seeing my messages, so I don't know what happened. But I saw her post on somebody else's something, so I went over. I said, well, I haven't seen Vonnie for a long time. And somehow I went over and looked at her page, and we were unfriended. So I don't know. Eileen and Janet just sit at the bar. You guys. That's why we have to have Colleen's dog, Bandit, is the bar guard. Not the bartender. Hey, Claire. Who else am I missing here? Your friends are missing? You think Facebook message because some of your friends are missing? Yeah, see, I don't know. And I gotta say, guys, Facebook is not my primary. Twitter's my primary chat, where I talk to people the most. So I don't talk to a lot of people on Facebook. I just don't hang out there. For one thing, I don't have time because Facebook is so. You gotta scroll through hours to get to, unless you look up a certain person. Like if I wanted to see what Janet was doing, I can always just go look up Janet, and I could put her, like I could click, I want to see her stuff first or something like that. But when you follow, a couple thousand people, or however many, I don't follow I don't have that many as I do on Twitter. Because I don't follow people just to follow them. So, like, if people want me to follow them on Facebook and I go look at them, and not to be mean to anybody, but if they haven't posted on Facebook in 4 years, I'm not going to follow you. Why? Why follow you? You can see all my art. It's all public. All my art's public. All my albums, folders, my portraits, all of it's public. So anybody can go see all my art folders. But why do I want to follow you and friend you on Facebook when you haven't posted in years? So I just don't. That being said, to get to anybody that, just to see what, like if I was following all you guys on Facebook and I just wanted to see everything y'all posted that day, I have to go look you up. You don't just flow into the feed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know YouTube and Facebook are not the same thing. I have a but I just got new stalkers. Yeah, and I have to every now and then I have to block somebody, but that's because they're a troll. You can tell who they are. And so, you have to block people every now and then. And I do block a lot of people on Twitter because I'm so active over there. And the other thing about it's not so much Facebook because Facebook you have to friend people, right? You still friend people with Twitter, but people can follow you follow you without you following them on Twitter. So, if you get, porn or, trolls or whatever on Twitter. So I have a lot of people blocked on Twitter. Not because I'm trying to be mean or whatever, but I don't want to see your naked butt. Just saying. I don't want to see your naked butt, so you're blocked. So anyway, that's one of the things I don't like about Facebook is you have to really look to find your friends. You have to go search out. You gotta put them in the search and go find them. So, yeah. And Instagram, I love my Instagram for art. Maybe once I think I posted a picture or two of something in the family, but I reserve my Instagram for just art, not chatting. I don't talk over there at all. Now, people can private message me and say, well, are you taking commissions now or something like that? Anybody can private message me, but I do not chat on Instagram at all. I'll leave a comment every now and then if it's something I really, really like. I like a lot of things. I like a lot of people's art, but pretty much everybody I follow on Instagram are artists because that's why I'm there. I'm there for art. So that's the people I'm following on Instagram. I'm not following, a bunch of politics or anything on Instagram. That's not why I am on Instagram. I'm on Instagram to post art and see art. And the other thing on Instagram, if you have a private page, I don't follow you. Unless let's just say Eileen had a private page, I'd follow Eileen. But if people follow me and they have a private page, I can't see anything they post, don't know who you are, I'm not following you. No offense, I don't know what kind of stuff you got on your feed. If you want to be private, then be private, but I'm not following you either. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, that's just kind of, I've been on chats and in online chats for over 20 years. And so I'm picky about all that. I'm just real picky. I have to really be in the mood to get in any discussions with you. Heavy discussions, I'll talk art and stuff like that all the time. But, yeah, exactly, Flint Rock. Rebecca said, IG is my happy place for art. Exactly. And I try to keep any, controversial comments that I make over on Facebook because I'm not there that much. So I try to keep it off Twitter, although every now and then I get a little riled up, but for the most part, Twitter's just my happy chats. Facebook is my, if I'm going to argue with anybody, that's probably where it's going to be. Well, for one, Twitter, you only got, 140 characters. I know you can connect and I know you can, but yeah. So that's just not the place to really talk anything in depth. If well, really neither is Facebook. None of it is really. None of it's really good to discuss much. People don't know how to have conversations. I've being on chat rooms for over 20 years in every kind of topic. People don't want conversations. They really don't. I don't even know if people know what a conversation is anymore. So let's get out our conversation cards. Oh yeah, Dot. I follow my family. My family is on Facebook too. Mom's on Facebook. They're not there like like most people. They're there occasionally, let's put it that way. They'll check their Facebook and they'll see if I comment, but they're not hanging out over there, talking to their friends. They meet in real life with their friends. uh, okay, well, that makes sense, Leah. That makes sense. Leah was saying something about her boss, the boss's stock over there. I don't know. I wouldn't think I'd have time to do that. But whatever, to each their own. So I hope y'all can see how I'm just adding some shading with just this one green on top of all the light green. But yeah, to find your friends on Facebook, you really have to go looking for them. I found now if you talk to or comment with them frequently, they're more apt to come up on top of your feed. And you can also pick, the ones that you want. But still, even so, if you have a lot of people that, you might want to hear from or talk to, you have to almost go find them. And that's a lot of work. Okay. That's looking pretty good. It's a little flashed out. There's a little better color there. See, that's pretty much the color right there. But look how dark my hand is. See? So the light is like either wants to pick one or the other. So. Just say what I think, Renata. Yeah. I pretty much do. And see, here's the thing, y'all. We talked about this before. And let me get the Kenny's chat pack thing out here, so we can do another question thing. One of the questions was, what was your, I don't know, one of your weaknesses or something. One of your anyway, I forget what the question was, but I have no tact. I'm not very tactful. And that can, it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. It hurts people's feelings really easy. I mean, I can hurt people's feelings really easy, and I don't mean to, because I'm just blunt. I just say what I say what I think, or what I believe, and and I don't, and it hurts sometimes can hurt people's feelings, and I should be more careful, I guess, about that. Because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I want to be able to talk to everybody. But if somebody, especially when somebody asks, I'm not a big advice giver. I'm not a big advice giver, except maybe my family might not say so, but that's the family, okay? But I don't like to give people advice because everybody has different things going on in their lives, and I don't know what's going on in their lives. And for me to give them advice, I don't know. I don't know really what kind of advice to give people. But here's the thing. If somebody comes out and just says bluntly, well, what about this? What do you think about X, Y, or Z? I'll tell them. And I don't hold back. I don't hold back. If somebody asks me, well, what do you think about X, Y, or Z? I'll say. Because that's what I think. That's what I believe. If you didn't want to know, don't ask. Yeah, exactly, Taro Trees. If you have a job that is chat sensitive, so to speak, where the bosses don't want you saying anything about I don't know, that's a whole nother story. I don't have that problem. But anyway, it bothers me when people say, well, I really want to know what you think. What do you think about this and that? I really want to know. And then you tell them, and they don't like the answer. And they get mad. Then don't ask. If you don't want to know what I think about it, don't ask me. Or if you don't like my answer, then just say, oh, I disagree. That's fine too. So I'm just smoothing, slightly putting down the dark green here. Can y'all see that? Like a little bit of shadow here. You're blunt too, Kate. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to get a nice shadow right under this vein, this ivy. I don't know what it is, but but that has its drawbacks when you're like that. And I try to think about that more as I get older. I try to think about, let's have a little tact here. But like in my younger days, he used to call me the bulldog because I would debate anybody, talk about anything, debate anything, and being on chat rooms and in person, I would do it, I'll talk about anything. I'll discuss anything and argue and debate. And, I love doing that. But I tell you, you don't have a lot of girlfriends when you do that. I can probably count on my hand the number of girlfriends I have had in my life. But that's just the way of it, as Barb would say. That's the way of it. But Hubster, see, he's the opposite. Well, not really. I mean, he'll debate. He can talk about anything too, but he's very tactful. He's very, he's very, he can just, I don't know, he just has so much more tact. And when I'll say, well, then what about so-and-so? He goes, you don't have to say, he'll say something like, you don't have to get it all in one conversation. You can talk another day, just like dial it back a little. I don't know how to dial it back. That's really hard. It's really tough for me to dial it back. Yeah, Janet's the same way. I know. Eileen, that's why you like bossing her around. She lets you boss her around. Oh, but anyway, I don't know. But I like to talk. I like to chat. I like to talk. I always have, all my life. I'm a talker, people. I'm a talker. Oh, but I enjoy interacting with people. I discussing, debating. I love all that. It doesn't bother me. Now, when it gets hate, then it's like, okay, this is like, we don't need this. But just debating, and see, that's one of the things now I think that people have lost. They lost the ability to debate in a good way. Now, if you say, "Well, I disagree with that," then you're called a name. Well, what about so and so? Then name calling starts. It's like nobody knows how to conversate. Is that a word? Nobody knows how to conversate. Okay, so I think I got all the green done. The shadow, the first layer anyway. I might want some darker, and I don't know, but there's the first bit of dark green. Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, Vaughn says the only way to dial it back is to stop talking. That's true. You can just stop talking, and for the most part, when you come across people that they don't want to talk, they don't want to discuss, they don't want to exchange ideas, then you might as well stop, especially if they just start the name calling. The name calling, right there, you just might as well say, that's it. And just, yeah. Because nothing good comes from that. Regardless of if you agree with the person or not, Start calling names and you're done. So yeah, that's true, Eileen. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think I'm going to get out a gray next. Let's get our gray tray. We have quite a few grays in the poly tray here. Of course, two of my trays now, I've messed them up. So this one's still in order as it came. The other ones pencil have fallen out, but they're going to go in a pencil case anyway. So, and I will, I'll put my own color wave. You know, I'll get all my yellows, or I'll do my own rainbow color wave, and then the neutrals together. You know, I'll do it the way that I use the pencils. So anyway, but here's all the grays. Here's all the grays. And I think, let's see, do I probably want one like maybe about, not kind of a medium gray. So it's not the darkest, it's not the lightest. It's called, let's see if I can read it. It's cool. They call it cold gray. Cold gray, number 4. It's like, it's not the darkest and it's not the lightest. And then these are warm grays right there. See? See how those are warm grays? Can you see how can you see the difference there from the cool grays? No, I won't keep them in the tin because I'll be too precious with them in the tin. If they're in a case, a roll case or a zip case or something, I'll use them much more. Now my Prismacolors, I've got so many of them, and I've got, you know, some have got 3 sets, some I've got 4 or 5 colors of one. There's no way I can keep those in a case. I'll have 5 or 6 blacks. You know, 10 whites in different shape, you know, anything I just grab, you know, so I rubber band those and then let me get I keep my Prismas that I use all the time, the colors that I use literally every day. Look, here's how I keep those. And every now and then I'll go through, and this is like, look how many are in one tray. This is just a silverware tray. I would recommend, this is an awesome way if you want to leave your pencils out and use them, and you use them all the time. A silverware tray is an awesome way to do it. Now, when I use them all the time, they get all scrambled. But usually I like the nubs down here. So whatever, when they get little, then I usually keep nubs in here. Then I usually have flesh tones and neutrals. Then I have blues, greens, yellow, orange, and red. And then, how do I have this? Something else over here. Anyway, I have them divided up better, you know, semi-organized. And I do that every couple of weeks. I'll go through this tray and these trays and organize them a little better, right? Because these sit on my desk and I use them literally every day. Hey, Jean. Jean here. Good to see you, Jean. I hope you're feeling better today. But then the rest of my Prismas are up here on my build, and they're all in bundles like this. And I can just grab them. If I don't have a cream color in my tray, and I know my Prismas, so I know what colors, you know, I have them like this. See, here's all my flesh colors, or the lighter ones, and it goes into the darkers, and then I have you see, like this. And so I have them all bundled up. And so if I need a color, let's say I need a sienna. So I know that it's going to be in this bundle. I just take this bundle and I do this. And I can find a color exactly that I want, just by being rubber banded up like that. It's just, this is my easiest way for me to organize my Prismas. And I see them too right in front of me. And I've got them by gray, dark gray, browns, and tans. And then I have my flesh tones divided up into 4 different categories by skin tone. And then I have light blue grays, blue, medium blue, dark blue, turquoise blue, and each one of these I'm saying is another bundle. Light green, dark green, pink, red violets, darker purples, red oranges, yellow oranges, orange or yellow, like that. That's kind of how I have them. I got 1, 2. Let's see, how many bundles do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. I have about 25 or 26 bundles of Prismas. But these are the ones I use every day. Oh, thanks, Sandra. Okay, so let's now take our medium cool gray and remember, everything base coated here was with alcohol markers. And see, it does go through. Alcohol markers go through. Make sure you have something behind it to protect. And then this also serves me as a little test sheet since I'm just new to the polys. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here with the gray and start. This may not be quite dark enough. I might go one darker. Let's see. Let's see, this one is cold gray 5. Let's see if 5. That was the other one I had was 4. Yeah, this is just a little darker. That'll work. I could go to 6 too, I guess, is the next one. Let's see. 6. Yeah, next one's 6, so goes hops from that to that. Question, Dee Dee, hey Prisma, by the way, did I say good morning? When I color animals, do you accentuate the fur to make it look like real fur? No, in fur and hair and clothing, I use acrylic paint. I've done a few demos. Is that going to be dark enough? Let me see. Might go with the number 6 because I can feather it so lightly. Yeah. I just heard the diva go bounding down the hall. She sounds like, like a dog running. She's heavy-footed. She's just, I think it's the weather. The windows open, the cool weather. It goes bounding down the hall. Hair, clothing, fur, I will base coat with acrylic paint and pencil over it. You can hear her? You got good ears, Erin. Can everybody hear her? Did you hear her? Did you hear her? If I let her in here, she'll just start meowing. So that will become annoying very quickly. I don't know. This cool gray, I almost need a blue gray. It's a little, still, even though it's a cool gray, it still looks a little brown to me. I'm used to my Prismas again, I'll just use a minimal amount of shading on here anyway. But I'm not having to feel like I need the lighter color to blend the two together. You can't hear it? You have good ears, Erin. Yeah, she's running up and down the stairs. My studio's at the top of the stairs, so as soon as I go out, it's straight down the stairs, right to the right. And I can hear her running up and down the stairs, right outside. I can let her in, but she'll just meow y'all to death. She's a talker. She's a talker. We gotta make sure she gets it from me. No, she's already that way before we got her. Can you color? I'm coloring a rabbit and I use an inkjet. Well, see, now here's the thing with the inkjet. The water medium sometimes depending, I have to be a little careful with mine, but it's not terrible. But inkjet, if you print your color book pages out with the inkjet printer, you're probably going to have some issues with water. I have found, though, I have no issues at all with acrylic paint. So try to base coat with acrylic paint wash. Now, when I say washes, I just mean watered down acrylic paint, but it's not like watery, so watery that it's like watercolor water. It's not like ink. There's just a little bit of water in the acrylic paint so that you can still see through, so that it's translucent enough to still see the color book lines. And somebody asked me on YouTube, well, what's the ratio you use when you do acrylic paint washes, water to paint? And I don't have one, because every color, one color may be more translucent than the other, and I need very little water. Some are a little more opaque, and I might need more water. So there's not, there's not a ratio to how much water you put in your acrylic paint to use as a base coat for your color book pages. Now, if you want a flat background, like when I do a flat black background on my color book pages, there's no water. No water. Oh, Jean, I bet you do, Miss Kitty Meows. But Diva will meow all day, and I'm not joking. She will meow all day long, unless she's sleeping or I'm petting her. She stops meowing and she'll purr when I pet her. But the minute you stop petting her, she meows. And she walks around meowing. And you can't go, she won't let you pick her up. You cannot approach her. I think I told y'all this last week. Somebody sent me a cartoon in Messenger. And it's so true. They said, this is like Diva, isn't it? And what it is, it shows a cat, a cartoon, a little cartoon comic. And the cat's thought bubble is going, pet me. And so you see a hand reach down, and the cat's jerking away going, with your eyes. And that's the Diva. It's like she meow, 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 meow. It's like, you want me to pet you? Well, then let me touch you. But no. Oh, no, no, no. She has to come lay next to you. Then she will deem you worthy to pet her. Otherwise, she just walks around meowing. Whoa. Dot's asking Janet about fixatives. I don't know. Are you talking about on color pencil, Dot, or are you talking on graphite? I don't fixative anything. Color book. Well, I don't really fixative anything. I have fixative some pastels. I don't like to use pastels. I don't like chalk. But you have to fixative chalk. You really do. But to me, I always can still smell the fixative. Years later, I can still smell fixative on old art pieces. Yes, she did. You know what she did with her sock monkey? Tariel Trees asked me if she liked Sharon's sock monkey. Well, it's a rabbit sock monkey. And it was so cute. So, she's so standoffish, the Diva. She's a diva. I'm not joking. And so, and she loves running up and down the stairs. And she's 5 years old, from what we understand. She's been fixed, so it's not like she's in heat or anything, and that's why she's going stir crazy. So anyway, I put the I went at the bottom of the stairs. Here's like, not that it really matters, but I'm up here on the second floor. Here's another room right here. There's a little mini hall. Then there's a bathroom right there. Then here's my bedroom, and there's a bathroom there. So there's two bathrooms right there, but there's just a little mini hall right here. It's like a split level, so the top floor is like half the size of the bottom first floor. So this is like a half of the bottom of the house. And so then you go down the stairs here, and then over here is under the bedroom is the great room, and then over here is the kitchen, dining room, which I've turned into a library. And then here is, well, that's the den. Here's the great room. Okay, and then here's the front door. So anyway, I have stairs going down here. So I'm sitting over here in the kitchen, right here at the table, and I put I put the sock monkey thing right here, right? Knowing she's going to come down the stairs and see it. But I'm out of the way, because if I'm right here, she's not going to come down. So I'm sitting over here watching her. So I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden I see her sneak down here real quietly, real quietly. Yes, I know. Prisma just said, where do I hang the Divas tiara? Well, that picture that Sharon sent, I'll show it to y'all again in a minute. So she snuck down here real quietly, and I know she kind of looked left and looked right. And she walked over to it, picked it up in her mouth, and sauntered away. Now, there's a wall right here, so that's as far as I could see. So she picked up the little sock monkey in her mouth and went ding, 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 and went over in this other room. It was so cute because that thing's about this big, right? And she picked it up in her mouth and just walked away. But she kind of like looked like, I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want anyone to see me liking this toy. Oh, where's that picture? Let me see if I can just have it here. Where did I put it? Here it is. This is the picture that Sharon sent with that. Look at her. That is so, except for the coloring, Diva's gray. But look at her. And so what she wrote on the little note, to Diva Kitty, I'm sending you a sock rabbit so you can practice with it and help Dee Dee with her rabbit trails. She has a lot of them. I'm also sending you some treats. These were my favorite. Hope you like them. I'm so glad you found a wonderful and loving new home. From Sassy Kitty. Sassy Kitty is Sharon's cat's name. So there's Sassy and there's Diva. So this is Sassy. So you know Sassy and Diva, they'd be BFFs. They would, because that's just the way they roll. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get back to, let's see, did I miss any areas here? Probably. Little shadows here and there under the ribbon. Oh, let's go ahead and do these are called table topics. The one I have is called Chat Pack. So let's go ahead and get one out here. Let's see what the next one is in the front of the box. Okay. Oh, on inkjet prints. Okay, on inkjet prints. Okay, I missed something. Totally missed the whole conversation there. Dot. All I see, Dot, is you saying on inkjet prints, Dee Dee. So what was the question about it? Sorry, I missed it. I'll answer that question first before I read. Waiting for Dot. Maybe somebody else just answered the question. Which inkjet printer do I use, maybe? I have a Epson Artesian. I forget the number right now. It's a few years old, 3-4 years old. Jean used to have the same one, so. And it's really pretty good about using water mediums over it. Now, you know, I can make the ink run. Let's face it. Oh, the conversation was about fixative on pages printed on inkjet before using watercolor. Okay, well, here's a couple things. One, I rarely copy any color book pages. I rarely I use them right out of the book. I don't care how thin they are. They can be Bennett Klein, Create Space paper. I'll use the book. I'll use the paper in the book. The only time I've ever made a couple of copies on cardstock was to do a special color book page for Eileen and one for Paula. And other than that, I don't even remember ever printing any of them out. I just used them right out of the book. Hey, Squaw Moon Tracy. So I don't know about using the fixative to fix the ink. Here's what I would think might happen. The fixative, unless you covered the whole page, say with an acrylic wash, I don't even know how watercolor would react to the fixative, or color pencils. And would the fixative react with wax-based, like oil-based? You'd have to test all that. Just spray a piece of paper, the kind that you're going to, the cardstock or whatever, that you are going to fixative and then try to play on or color on. To make one sheet of cardstock your test fixative cardstock test sheet. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking the fixative could affect different pencils, different mediums, and all that. It may not. It may not do anything except fix the ink. But I just don't print out enough of things to worry about it. I pretty much use everything right out of the book. I don't know if that was helpful. Okay, so let me take a look here. I think I got a little bit of gray over here. And you can see I'm not doing a lot of color changing. I'm using one darker color than the Copic or the alcohol-based marker. I'm just using a pencil, one or two shades darker to blend. Now this right here, I'm going to need even one shade darker because this is a larger area. So this big area is going to need a couple shades of green to get it to, have the high shadow contrast under there. So, all right. But we're making progress here. What do y'all think? Oh, Dee Dee, Janet says she uses Krylon workable fixative for that purpose. Yeah, I don't know where my fixative is even in here. It might even be in the garage. I don't know if mine's Krylon or I have a couple brands. Let's see, what's this? I think my fixative is out in the garage because I don't spray it in the house. I don't remember what brand it is. I probably haven't used it in a couple years even. I think when I did some pencil drawings in a sketchbook a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, for you guys, I did it big and bold with bold graphite, and it smeared so easy. I took those outside and sprayed them, but I still can smell it. You did a color book page with Prisma pencils and did the background in pastels, then sprayed it with the fixative. The result was some of the colors of the Prismas went through to the other side. Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. I just don't use pastels at all. I don't use pastels at all in my color book pages because I don't like the feel of chalk. That's just me. There's some girls that are getting great, beautiful pastel-y backgrounds with pastel chalks. I just don't I don't enjoy using them, let alone that you're going to have to do something for the fixative because they'll come right off. Chalk will just come right off. So, yeah. But I didn't think about it, maybe making something come through. Yeah, you can do some beautiful, I have seen some absolutely beautiful backgrounds with chalk. I just don't like the dry feeling of chalk. That's just me. That's just me. Okay, let's go to a question here. That one's kind of... okay, let's see. What's the funniest advice your mother gave you? And I'm going to get a darker, like golden yellow to start doing a little bit more. Almost maybe, let's see what color this is called. If I can read it. Ochre, brown ochre. It's just a little darker than the shading I did with, where's the coat? The Hoo Hoo Hero I used was this one. So the darker areas you see are that, and I'm thinking this is just going to be one shade darker, which is what I want. Um, well, then that might not have been bad advice. I mean, that might have been bad advice if, because obviously you're glad you did, Aaron. So I'm just going to I'm just going to start kind of just doing a little shading, more shading than I got with the marker on these ribbons. What time is it too? I gotta check the time. Okay, we're good. Eileen, your that was the best advice or the funniest advice? Eileen said, become a millionaire. That was the funniest advice? Maybe I should have asked what's the best advice, but that's a good question, the funniest. Yeah, that was the funniest, Eileen? Okay. So anyway, it's very easy to lay down to shade. It's very easy to shade just using this one color. No pressure. It's very smooth. It just lays down very, um, it feathers just nicely without working it with another color. Now what I need to do though after I do this is take another darker color and see. I don't know how many layers you can get, light layers you can get really. I haven't counted them and it may be different with different colors. But how many layers you can layer the polys and still have it layer. With Prismacolors, you have to be aware, and I'm talking light layers all around. How many light layers you can get with the polys and still layer it up versus how many layers can you get with Prismacolor in light layers. Have to do some more testing, see? More testing. But the more you use them, just using them, you start to learn things. Okay, so Shalene says she doesn't remember her mom giving advice. Flint Rock said, if it smells, don't eat it. That's a good one. That's a good one, Rebecca. If it smells, don't eat it. Janet said, those dates on food don't mean anything. Is that what your mother said? Well, I don't know. They mean something. They may not mean as close to the date as is printed on there, but they do mean something. Milk will only last so long. Brenda said, my friend's mom was the funniest advice to me was don't ever wear pink with red. That's, Brenda, I have heard that. I heard that when I was little. You don't wear pink and red together. It's like it clashes or something. Of course, nowadays that's ridiculous, right? But that was like the trend. You just didn't wear pink and red. It was like orange and, it would be like wearing like orange and pink, or something like that. Yeah. Dorothy, when I was cleaning for her, she would say, look after corners and the rest will look after itself. Aw, that's cute. That's cute, Dot. That's sweet. Jean said she can't think of one piece of funny advice. Jean, I can't think of anything Mom said that was funny. Advice that was funny. She probably did, but I don't remember. I don't have good memory. I mean, I don't have I don't remember a lot. I don't remember a lot. My sister can remember everything every day, and Hubster can too. He can remember every day in his childhood. When we drove to Alaska in 1983, he could tell me every stop we made. No joke. Every stop we made. What we ate at every restaurant. Do you remember when you asked for ketchup in that restaurant in Wyoming and everybody looked at you like you had three heads? I went, Oh no, I don't. But thanks for bringing that up. I'm a very living in the now kind of person. I just don't. I think it's like all those memories kind of clutter up my brain. So I just like, okay, moving on. Julio says, I'm pretty sure that my mom gave me advice, but since I didn't listen, I don't remember. Well, that could be true too, Julie. So you used to leave the middle of the room, Dot, and just do the corners? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so Chatty's daddy said, if you want to look like skin and bones, don't eat them. Does that mean like eating bones will kill you? I mean, I'm not sure I get that one. Oh, Jean, red and pink stink. Well, that's because you're a green and blue girl, Jean. Kitty said, my grandma advised me not to let a man hang his pants on my bed or you'll get pregnant. Megan said, my grandma told me once that it's something to hang on. Oh, so that, in other words, have some meat on your bones, Megan? Jen said she told me that when I found a can of mushrooms. What? She told you that when you found a can of mushrooms that expired in 1972 and it was 1999? Talk about let's party like it's 1999, Janet. Her mom said that the dates don't matter, and she was talking about a can of mushrooms that expired in 1972. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you didn't listen to her, Janet. Claire says, my grandma told me to keep your hand on your sixpence. Aw. Well, I do kind of remember, and I don't know if that was funny, but I do remember back, when we were like teenagers and stuff, you to always keep a quarter on you to make a phone call. So no matter where you were, and that was back when there was pay phones, people. If anybody remembers what a pay phone was. Or maybe it was a dime. I don't know. Maybe it was a dime. It was a dime to make a phone call. Shalene said, my grandma told me to get up at midnight to make sure honey is fed when he gets home. Oh, when he worked the second shift. Well, my grandma did that. My grandfather, well, it was my step-grandfather. He was from Holland. He was like literally from Holland. He was Dutch. Barely, I mean, you had to really, he spoke English, but you had to listen to get through his accent, right? And he came to the States and he became a milkman. Back in the day when milkmen were really, you had milk delivered to your house. And so anyway, he had to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Grandma always got up 3 o'clock in the morning with him to make him breakfast and send him off to work. So Shalene talking about the second shift thing there. Tar Heel Teresa, my mom said never start shaving. Once you start, the hair will grow more. Problem is it doesn't work if you are... Oh my gosh. Well, I would tell my granddaughter, and I did tell my daughter too, but she didn't do it anyway, but if you pluck, and see, when I was a teenager, when I was 11, 12, 13, plucking your eyebrows real thin and having them like this, that was a style. You plucked your eyebrows so that this is the only, you might have a little bit there. That's what your everybody had their eyebrows look like that. So you plucked everything out of the way and you drew them on. Well, after so many years, by the time you're my age, they don't grow back. You have to draw your eyebrows on the rest of your life. If you did that every day for 20 years or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, Chatty. That's odd. Dot, well, yeah, in the UK, yeah, Dot says she still has milk delivered. And I'm sure there's still places that do have, you know, and you probably live in one of those towns like I always teased Rach, 0113 Rach. Y'all know, you know, Rach. I always teased her that she lived in the same town that Miss Marple lived in. I just always imagine Rach living in what's the name of the town now? It's slipping my mind. The town Miss Marple lived in. I picture you living in that like that too, Dot. In a quaint little English village. Okay, where was I? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I got to chatting. Let's get back to shading. Let's get back to throwing shade. Paula said that all the time. I thought it was hilarious. Paula always said throwing shade. We miss you, Paula, if you ever watch this. She's a working woman. Oh, Jean. Well, Jean, you have the lightest hair of anyone I ever know anyway. But yeah, your hair's they're just, you like to leave them thick and bushy. She said no one notices because they're so white. Jean. Oh my gosh. Our Jean. I don't know. I mean, Jean, she doesn't talk about it too much. She's albino. And so she's very pale anyway. And so she's talking about her white. You were the cutest little girl though, Jean. Not that you're not cute now. Now you're sassy pants. But when you were a little girl, you were so cute, Jean. You're just so adorable. Oh. Hey, Colleen, if I miss seeing you. So we're working, if you're just joining us, we're working in Irene. Nick Filbert is what he goes by. There's his real name, but he goes by Nick Filbert if you look him up on IG or Facebook or anything. You're just as cute as a little button, Jean. Now I call her Sassy Pants. Okay, so we get some shading here with the, what color did I say it was again? Brown ochre. And this one is a 3-star. I think a lot of them, I mean, polychromos are like supposedly known for their light fastness. So I'm not doing any blending. I'm just shading with one color darker on top of the alcohol markers is what we started with. Prisma, why do old men let their eyebrow hairs grow long? I think those are the only ones that have that happen is if they have wives that don't call them on it. You know? The wives have to go, hey, goat man. Oh, yeah, Colleen's a night owl, so she's just getting here. Oh, good, Claire. Yeah. Well, I've seen them all, so I don't go back and watch them because I was pretty much at every, you know, either at Paula's shows or watch the recordings when they happen. So just getting some. Again, I'm just using one color on top of now this did have 2 colors. I did start with the these 2 colors, yellow, a Blick yellow, and Hoo Hoo Hero deep yellow. And now I'm shading with just one color. You like that, Nina Beaner? Well, you know what I mean. Okay, let's go on from let's go to another question here. Goat man, y'all like that? Okay. Which event in the past, present, or future would you like to witness in person? That sounds familiar. I mean, I think we did ask that question at one point. Which event would you like to witness, past, present, or future? And I'm also going to use this same color, because I use the same color here, to, throw some shade on these daisies or whatever they are. Now, I am going to sharpen this one. I need it a little bit pointier for some of these little details here. But I haven't sharpened, nothing really. I mean, I think I sharpened one purple. Okay, so y'all put them in caps. Hey, Kimberly. So I can see. Megan said Woodstock. I didn't go to Woodstock, but I went to enough concerts, not as big, obviously, like that in my day, that I could probably say, no, I would not want to go to Woodstock. That's a tricky question. Yeah. Well, and it doesn't have to be like your only answer and that would be it and nothing else. Just an example. Just one thing. Let's just say one thing that you would like to witness, past, present, or future. Cirque du Soleil. That's present. Yeah, Suzanne. They've been in Atlanta a lot of times. You haven't ever gone, Suzanne? Prisma said, I'd like to see me roller skate on 3 wheels while I do the curly shuffle. Now, the curly shuffle is you lay on your side on the ground. This is what the curly shuffle is. Y'all don't know. Well, I'm sure Prisma probably knows. She's just being funny. But the curly shuffle, the Three Stooges, the curly shuffle, you lay on your side on the floor, and your feet go, and you go, whoop, 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 whoop. But anyway, so I said that, Prisma, to tell you, I can't do that on roller skates because that wouldn't work. Janet said the Roswell UFO crash. Yeah. Janet said that. Claire said the end of World War I or II in the UK or the USA. Like the signing of the papers or the celebration or going down, New York in with everybody cheering that was over. Is that what you mean, Claire? You like that, Colleen? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would do it, too. I would do it for you guys. But I can't do it in the studio. There's not enough room. Because you got to lay out. You got to stretch out, and spin yourself. You spin yourself on the floor. Kitty, I want to see what the library in ancient city about. That would have been a good one. In Alexandria, yeah, before it burned down. Connie says, I totally have no idea what that is, Connie, in reference to. I must have missed your first comment. Something about cottage cheese. Prisma said, Dee, what did they call it when Curly shuffled backwards while kicking his foot up? That's the whoop, 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 whoop. I can do that one too. But that's not the shuffle. Well, I guess it could be. But the curly shuffle to me is the one where he lays on the floor. Okay, but I can do that back skip thing too. The curly back skip, back step. Claire said she'd like to see the celebration in the street. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you meant, Claire. Squamoo, Noah's Ark, and all that. Now that would be something. Squamoo, Noah's Ark. I got to keep working while I'm reading here because I'm doing more chatting than coloring here. And if you're watching, don't email me. Don't leave me a nasty comment. Just fast forward, people. Just fast forward. If you don't want to hear the chat, just fast forward. It wouldn't matter because if you left a nasty comment, I wouldn't put it on there anyway. So I block crappy comments. I know I don't block sincere, honest criticism or questions. If somebody says, you know, Dee Dee, you just really not rocking that polychromos, that's fine, you know. But I got one the other day. What was it? You have a crappy life. And I thought, well, you must have an extra crap. I didn't say anything. I just deleted it. But I thought to myself, well, what kind of crappy life must you have to comment on someone else's crappy life? It's funny to me. Oh, that's really funny. But anyway. Shalene said the New Year's Eve in Times Square. Any of them, Shalene? Any of them? Or do you have a certain year? Yes, really, Eileen. I'm serious as a heart attack. Well, I don't like to say that. I'm serious. Really, somebody did really say that. And so anyway, I said that to say, if you're one of those people that are going to leave a comment like that, it's pointless because I'm going to delete it. You know, it's just going to be gone. But if you have a real, you know, criticism of something or some advice or some thought, like one girl put a whole bunch of advice on polychromos. And I thought, man, that's a lot of, she took a lot of time to write those 2 paragraphs. Yeah, maybe, Jen. I don't know. You know, you get those people every now and then. But again, it doesn't matter to me because I don't put them through. I don't have time for all that hate. Just don't have time for the hate. So when I say don't email me, that's the kind of comments I mean. I don't mean you guys don't email me. Y'all know that already, though. Okay, I think I got all that ribbon done. Now let's go up here on, I'm not going to, well, maybe I will do a little bit of shading because I plan on putting gold, either clear or gold stickles or some kind of glitter on these right here that's supposed to be like gold, and maybe even this ribbon. I think this ribbon would be like liquid gold. That would be awesome looking. Liquid gold, shiny. Dot said she would go to another performance at the Vienna State Opera. Been once and loved it. Awesome. One with Dick Clark in here. Well, so you need to talk to Eileen. She actually knew Dick Clark and babysat for his child. I used to say babysat for Dick Clark, and Eileen would correct me and go, I never babysat for Dick Clark. It was his son or child or whatever. I made Eileen sound like she was 100. But yeah, Eileen's been on American Bandstand. I've seen the video or the picture. I don't know if it was a video, or maybe it was a video, but we freeze framed the picture. I don't remember now, Eileen. But yeah, Eileen's been on American Bandstand. Yeah, everybody's jealous of Dot getting to go see that, the Vienna State Opera. And of course, Jean would be, because Jean, you know, she's a music teacher, retired music teacher. Jean's done her fair share of travel herself. I'll say that. For being limited sight, Jean is she's like our inspiration. The things that Jean's accomplished with her, and I don't even like to call them handicaps, her challenges. With her challenges in her life, it's awesome. So she's the musical scrapper. If you want to see, she's really getting into watercolor now these days. She's really trying to learn watercolor like on a more professional level. And she's really, really doing so awesome. Just saying. Just saying. Prisma. Liquid gold, Dee Dee. Velvet mac and cheese. Prisma. Well, you know, it just looks like it could be very fluid gold. I mean, I can imagine this stuff. If I mean, one of these days, when I'll say when I'm as old as Eileen. I'm not gonna say, Eileen can do awesome digi work. I would love to learn how to do digi to the point where I could animate that ribbon to make it look like fluid gold. But there's a learning curve to this stuff. I mean, but that's how I can envision. I can envision what I could do with Digi and anime. Okay, but it's the time it takes to learn the programs. I got you, Eileen. Eileen's going, Dee Dee. But I mean, you have rocked the Digi world, Eileen. I would have you teach me Digi if I had time to learn it, or if I took the time to learn it, I should say. We all have time to do what we want to do, but I like that, Colleen. But I can envision this. I can envision this fluid moving. See, look, there's a little piece of it just floating off right there, like it would come apart and come back together. Come apart and come back together. Fluid, moving, moving. And she's trying to capture it. And it has something to do with this crystal emerald ball, which I can make shimmer and glow with Digi, right? See, I can picture all this. I love Digi, and clean up is so easy. Okay, so I need a dark purple pencil back because I got to fix these strings that she's holding the ball with. Let me just grab a dark purple. And just kind of, I don't want to lose those. They're kind of getting lost anyway. I think I'll go over them with white and shimmer those too. Maybe those strings right here, because they're kind of getting lost in the purple collar, Something like that. Oh, here's another one right here. And maybe just a little more shadow in that little curve thing there, that little wave. You can put a Velveeta mac and cheese bit. I like my mac and cheese. I like my grilled cheese, but I'm not sure if I want I think I'm going to have a egg salad sandwich for lunch today. That sounds good. I hope I'm staying pretty much in camera. Okay, so it's time to move on to the next question. Let me just get a little bit more shadow on the edge here. And you can always go back and touch up in other areas. So let's see if y'all can see her eyes there. So I had that done already. Okay, I used to watch American Bandstand as a kid and you loved it. Okay, so yeah, my pencils are all out of order now. That's just the way it goes. All right, so I think I need to go back a couple little spots right in here with the dark green. I just can kind of tell where I've kind of missed a few. Needs to be a little darker. But I'm not really doing any color blending. I'm not blending any two colors together. I'm just shadowing with the polys at this point. But I do kind of want to get out my Tantone sketchbook and kind of play with some layers. The other thing I want to still do too, and I was going to do this the other day, and I pulled out a coloring blender, and these are the alcohol-based coloring blenders, and I think I got these to go with my alcohol markers, but I dug this out, and I haven't dug it out, but I could if I needed to. My Mineral spirits. Now, I'm not going to test on this. I don't want to test on my page. I'll test on a test page. The polys, you know. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people go, well, why don't you use, and I've seen like Anne. Anne does awesome with colorless blender pen, you know, alcohol-based marker blending pen with her pencils. I just never have used them. I've tested them a couple of times over the years, but some of the things like mineral spirits can leave an oil ring or go through and leave oils, and I just haven't really taken the time to really work with them, so I don't want to diss on them. If you like using them, like Anne does awesome blending with them. I just have always blended everything with just pencil. I mean, I have some of those probably in here somewhere. You know, those Prismacolor here, like this. This is probably 20 years old. I don't know how old it is. But I just don't use these. You know, I have to have some real special reason to want to use something with that. Huli oil for blending. Am I saying that right? Huli, Huile. Huli oil? I never have heard of it, Azure. Is it made for like pencils? See, I don't look into those things because I don't use them, right? If I use these all the time, what else can I use to blend with? I know people have used baby oil. I don't know, not putting any oil on my pencils. That's just me. Just me. So I don't know if Huli oil is like baby oil. Okay, so now I want to, was this the green I wanted, or did I have a medium, more of a medium green? Where's the other green I had? See, they're all out of order now because I knocked them over. Let's see. No, that's going to be too dark. This one's probably going to be too light. I need one shade darker. Yep, see, that's not dark enough. I don't want to get too, maybe this color. And see, I don't look at the names or the numbers. I just look at the pencil color. And if I'm not sure what it's going to do, then, you know, here's my little test. So here's what I'm talking about blending colors. I'm trying to put this green over the dark green and get them to work together, and it's not wanting to do it. They're not wanting to blend, for the lack of a better word. These want to layer, but they don't, like when I go on top of this, I'm wanting them to blend together smoothly, and it's not wanting to do that. It'll layer, but it's not wanting to blend. Yes, I'll ask another question. I saw someone last night using it, and it made for oil painting from what I saw. Oh, it's made for oil painting. Well, that's like, your odorless paint thinner, your Mona Lisa stuff. It's made for oil painting. Leah says, don't blend markers with a blender. It will light the color. I only use marker blenders for effects. Okay, well, Anne uses them to blend her pencils. And other people have too. It's just Anne's the most recent person I've seen use it. I can see how, now watching Anne use them, I could see how I would not want to, me personally, would not want to use it on skin. The reason is I have such subtle colors in my skin, and from what I've seen, these have a tendency to blend so well, it's almost you have no differentiation. In other words, it blends out, it smooths out your pencil lines so well, but that then you have no shading. I just don't think that I'd want to do that on a face, because see, now granted, the Nick has, these are very harsh lines he's put in her face. Those were there, those harsh shadow lines. there, those were already in her face. I just colored over them, right? But like, for instance, if I go over this right here, I think what it would do is just make it all one color. It would take my yellow, my blue, my cream, my purple, and it would just blend it all flat. There would be no shading. You know, does that make sense? There'd be no in the skin. Now, I wouldn't care so much, and I might test, let me maybe test it up here on a leaf or something. Okay, so what that Hooly oil or whatever is made for oil painting, but yeah. See, now when I've taken a little bit of oil painting courses years ago, and we just used mineral spirits and I think some linseed oil, but I don't really remember. I don't have any linseed oil anymore. I gave all my oil painting supplies to Cam, but I think I have an extra bottle of the Mona Lisa odorless mineral spirits, odorless paint thinner mineral spirits. Yeah, and it probably is true. The blenders will probably work different on different paper and different pencils. I'm going to test one here. Let me test right up here with the oil-based polychromos, right? Let's just see what happens when I try to blend. See, I'm pulling, what it's doing is pulling the darker green into the lighter green. And it's, I can just see that you have to be very careful or you would lose that light green. Everything would be one flat new color. In other words, it's going to take my dark green and my light green and make a mid-tone green. So the whole thing is going to be a flat mid-tone green. It'd be smooth as ice. Very smooth, but all one color. Okay. Bye. Oh, that's Claire's leaving. Bye, Claire. So I wouldn't want to do that on my skin because I love all the different tones I can get in skin. You know. Let me try it here on my orb. See how it's wanting to go darker. Maybe if I don't know. I can just see that I'm going to end up, I'm barely laying down any. Because I'm afraid I'm going to lose that light right there. If I keep blending this out, it's going to bring this darker green into here. And it's all going to be a mid-green. So anyway, and I'm sure it's practice. Did anybody else screen freeze? Maybe you need to refresh, Tracy. Maybe you can't hear me. Okay, so let me back out a click or two here, so you can see the big picture. Let's go back in. And again, let me kind of block some of the sunlight, so you can kind of see the true color. Because see, it flashes it out when I do that. But I think we made some good progress on here. What do y'all think? Do y'all like her? Let me put a test in here to make sure. All right, I know where I want to. Let me do this. Let me put a little bit darker green right here where I wanted more shadow. Let me just lay down a little bit more of the poly and try to blend that. Let's see what happens down here. Made it back. Welcome back. All right, so let's see now. See, that made it all one color of green. So to blend it, I'm just trying to keep the tip clean. I'm just thinking that if I want to keep blending this dark down into the light, it's going to lose the light. So maybe if I start at the light and work up into the dark, that's a little better. Starting in the light area and working it into the dark. it just, to me, this seems like a step that's really, if you blend your pencils correctly, is unnecessary. That's just me. Don't email me, people. Don't email me. Because like I said, I've seen Anne get some awesome results with her, I don't know what brand she uses, so sorry. Blender marker. But it to me, it would have a tendency to want to flatten out everything. It's granted, it's smooth with no pencil lines. Oh, you're ready for a question. All right, Prisma. Don't get your panties in a wad. Okay, let's see. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten? What is the strangest thing you have ever eaten? I need some hot coffee. We're going to run out of time here shortly anyway. I mean, I can still stream, but I'm going to have to make another segment. So we'll have to do another part if y'all want to hang out some more. Let's see, these browns need to go down here. Oh, I know what I want to do before we do anything else. I want to put some stickles or some gold on here. Let me move my pencils a little out of the way, because I'm going to knock these trays over. I already did it once. I already knocked them over once, so let's move them out of the way. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten? Oh, you're not ready for a Pop-Tart. Oh, Ann Siggers. Siggers, I think. She's My Colorful Life. Colleen. My Colorful, am I right, guys? Is it My Colorful Life? Ann Siggers? Yeah. Nina's eating alligator tail. Megan said a goldfish. Was that on a dare? Hey, CB. CB, what's the strangest thing you've ever eaten? Flint Rock Rebecca says she's eaten chocolate-covered ants. Jean says, I don't eat strange food. I'm kind of with you there, Jean. Eileen said alligator tail, but it was delish. Well, living in Florida, I'm sure that's probably on the she menus, Eileen. Jen said, yeah, it's okay. A Colorful Life. A Colorful Life. Ann Siggers. A Colorful Life. Janet's eating rattlesnake. Azure says you're all brave. I've eaten moose in Alaska. Francis, it may not be strange to those in the U.S., but deep fried ice cream. Well, that's like what? Deep fried pickles? Now, I've not had one of those, but I've seen them at county fairs. Deep fried pickles? Pickles are meant to be cold. Ice refrigerator cold. It was a dare, Megan, that you had a goldfish. Cass, hey Cass, a bear. That, of course, Cass is up in the Canadian. You're not that adventurous. I'm not really adventurous in food either. I'm really not. Boo ate calamari when she went to the cheer thing. Cheer competition in Florida. Jean says, as strange as thing you ever ate was chicken livers. I don't think I've ever eaten a chicken liver, Jean. Daisy Vicky's had frog legs. Frog legs, and I like them, Shalene said. Muskrat. Okay, I thought, don't anybody tell me any roadkill now. But moose is not strange. That's true, but, well, let's just say it would be different, you know. I guess the strangest thing that I ever ate, I used to love this. Here comes my mailman. Did you hear that, Aaron? I loved in elementary school and junior high, fudge-sickles. Y'all know fudge-sickles. The popsicles that are fudge-sickles, and Fritos. The salt and the chocolate together. See if he's going to get out or just going to throw something in the box. No packages. No packages today. Just threw something in the box. Fudge-sickle and Fritos. it's really was, I mean, I haven't had it in years, but it was really good. Megan, sea urchin and you didn't like it. Don't eat seafood or inner parts. Yeah. I like fried shrimp. I don't like oysters, anything slimy. It has to be, I like fried food. You fry it up and I'll probably eat it. uh, when I was little, I ate plaster. Ooh. Ooh. Prisma. I'm not going to ask the results of that one. All right, let me get out some something shiny. Let me either get let's see, maybe gold. I don't know. I don't know what I got up here. I'm really running low on a lot of my stickles. I need to stock up again because I mean they're like half, really almost some of them are empty. I really should just go with the clear. I don't know if there's anything in this diamond one. Let's see. And I also don't want any that I have to poke a hole in. There's no. I think that one's empty. Because I don't know where, I don't have a needle handy. A needle, here's stardust. Let's see if there's any stardust in here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use stardust, which is one of the clear ones. And I'm going to go over all the gold as long as I don't need to clean out the tip. And sometimes what will work, sometimes if your tip is clogged up, if you'll hold it upright and smack it, everything will fall down out of it, and then you can shake it back down again. So let me put this on here, and then we'll start another segment. I don't know what we're going to do. I said I'd wait till Monday. I told Terry Trouble I'd wait till Monday to do the napkin journal. So let me get... Suzanne said gummy bears and pretzels and peanut butter and Vidalia onion sandwiches. See, I like Vidalia onions. They're really, regular onions will give me a headache. I love Vidalia onions. The sweet onions don't give me a headache because I love onions, like sweet onions, or cooked and it doesn't bother me if they're cooked. I don't know if that's true of anybody else. Cooked onions like in spaghetti sauce or anything like that doesn't bother me, but raw onions will give me a headache. I don't know what it is, but Vidalias don't. We like our Vidalias, don't we, Suzanne? A salt map of the Cheshire Cat said, I once ate an entire salt map of the U.S. What the heck is a salt map? Oh, okay, Jen, you're paying attention. I'm just kind of rolling it on, and I'm not putting it on thick. I'm using the tip. I'm using the tip of the bottle to, scruff it out. You know what I mean, Vern? So it's not piled up. It's not going to be dimensional. It'll be nice and flat. Jen is our stickle. She loves her stickles and glitter. I think, didn't you go out and buy every color, Jen? Of stickles. I think she did. Don't quote me on that, but you could probably quote me on that. And this is just called Stardust, and it's sparkly but clear. And I don't know how much is in here, so I really do need to go ahead and get me a few new colors because I've had these since scrapbooking days, and half of them are empty. And as soon as I get done with this, I'll tilt it so you can see it. The only bad thing about using glitter or stickles or anything shiny like this is that you can't photograph it. So the cool effect, oh, and I got to do white stamens too. The cool effect that you get with it, you can't see it when you photograph it, which is very sad. I mean, I've done a couple where I've tilted it and taken a picture and you see a little bit. Like take two pictures, one flat straight on and one with the angle so you can see a little bit of it. But, yeah. I've got to kind of tilt my head so I don't miss any. And I'm just constantly shaking it down. want to say anything, but I have more than I will probably ever need. Not yet. Yeah, you don't have every color yet. And the other thing that I pulled out to try to use more of is the Twinkling H2Os. I have tons of those. And I just forget, I forget to use them. Do I want it on? No, I don't think I want it on the flower. I think I just want it on the ribbon and this thing here, this swirly bit. I'm going to turn this upside down and also the other thing, if you do glitter or stickles or anything like that, you want to do it the last thing you're going to do on that day, because you really can't dry it well with the heat gun, and you're going to be smearing it and everything. So wait till you're done with everything. I do kind of want some green. Let me see if I have any though, because I'm imagining these to almost be like jewels. So I kind of wouldn't mind those being shiny too, but I'd rather have them a different kind of color than this clear. I mean, the green will still show through, so it'll look green, but I kind of wanted it more green. Let's see. It's not in this jar here. Let me get over here. And I think we did this before. I think I wasn't sure if I had green. Yeah, I don't have the light green. I think the light green is out. But I have this dark green, and it's not Stickles. It's like a generic brand. But let's see here if I can get it. Yeah, see, it's not wanting to come out. I'm going to have to get a needle to get in there. So we won't do the jewels right now. But let me show you the gold here. All right, let's see if I can. I'm going to tilt it. There we go, right there. There we go. There we go, Jen. Jen. There we go. Hey, Tammy. See how pretty that is? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and use this instead. All my green doesn't work, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here too. It'll still look green because it's translucent, so it's going to show the color through. And I really want this ball here and the little jewels to really be sparkly. I'm impatient. I can't wait till I clear out that other one. And then I'll turn it up for y'all to see again. All right, so let's get inside here. Because, see, I imagine these to be some kind of an emerald jewel or some sort. But I hope y'all enjoyed finishing up. Like I said, all I did before the recording, which is not recorded, was coloring everything flat with markers. No blending, no shading with markers. Just a flat color. All the color shading is done with pencils. Okay, so here we go. There we go. Look, Jen. And then here, down here again. See, if I was Eileen, I could do all that digitally. And it would just be twinkling. Just be twinkling Jeff. Okay, so now, let's see. The white pasta, which I probably should have done first, but the stamens, these little things here, I kind of want them to have white. I want them to be, and I don't know that I'll end up wanting them to be pure white. I might knock them back with a pencil. See them right there? Here's where they're just black, and then I'm putting the white on top. And what I'll do is I might go over them even with yellow. I might make those stamens yellow. But this is a way to get it back to pure white so that you can go in there and color it. I know, isn't it so nice and twinkly? I thought there was some over here too, but maybe not. Maybe that's all. Okay, so when those dry, then I think I'll go over them with yellow. I could have just probably used yellow Posca. Oh well. Thanks, Connie. Yeah, so there we go. Our little bit of twinkle. There's her face. There's more twinkle. See, a little bit of stickles goes a long way. But don't, unless it's a mermaid under the sea or something, which I've done a lot of stickles on mermaids, if you just do certain areas like that, it makes it special, right? It makes the whatever you twinkle extra special if you just have a bit of it. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and take a quick break, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. I will post a picture on Twitter and everywhere after, later on today. So thanks if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll be right back, guys. Fine, because you see things come together so much quicker. Hey, Suzanne, isn't it a lovely day in the ATL today? It's just, I just love base coating. And ever since I started coloring, I started really with acrylic paints, base coat, washing things in backgrounds and painting background solid with acrylic paint. And then I started using, like Neocolor 2s and some watercolor and markers now as base coat to pencil on top of. It's just so much faster and so much more enjoyable to work on top, shading on top of a base, a flat base, regardless of whatever medium you're using as your base. I know, it's so nice, isn't it, Suzanne? One of these days, girl, gotta get you down here. And Darcy, too. I haven't had Darcy over in forever. But, everybody's really busy. Oh, if y'all follow me, did anybody see that Fight Like a Girl thing I posted on Facebook? The little girl doing the sword. That's not karate. I don't know what you'd call it when you she did a demo of sword with a sword exhibition and kicks and all that. But anyway, it was awesome. That girl, she reminded me of Boo. I'm taking a few. Oh, that would be nice. Maybe you could come down. We could do a Christmas project, Suzanne. We could do some kind of Christmas project. Okay, wait. Now, here's a tip. When you have your paper behind, because, alcohol markers, and also, now I'm not putting any pressure on these pencils, but anytime you want to, if you put any pressure, it's going to come through, and you don't want to get it on the next page. Well, but I had this up here a little bit like this, so when I started shading here, I was getting a line from the edge, like a rubbing. So make sure you don't have your paper leaving a mark because of the edge. Yeah, we'd have to do some kind of a Christmas project or something. I already have my New Year project for next year ready. I mean, not done, not made, but I have the idea for what the next New Year. Renata, are those the flare markers? The URL didn't come through. I don't think links are open. But you're saying, is that the flare markers, the pop colors? $29.99. But see if you can use a 40% off coupon. That's cheaper than $25 at Walmart. Do I like the Jane Davenport color pencils? They're okay. To me, a lot of people say they're just like Prismas. But I've used Prismas for 30 years. To me, they're not like Prismas. They're not bad pencils. But, they're not as soft and blendable to me as the Prismas. That's just me. But there's nothing wrong with them. They're not a bad pencil. Don't get me wrong. Don't email me. Don't go over there and tell Jane I didn't like her pencils. So you see how soft this is just going on, and I'm no pressure at all, and it's laying down so easily. Now, when I say this is laying down very easily, I'm also not trying to blend colors together. From what I understand, and maybe Erin, I don't know, she has an explanation, but I've had people tell me you have to layer them. They don't blend like wax pencils. You have to layer one on top of the other and not kind of mix. And I don't even know if that makes sense. So. But as far as just shading, look how smooth that is. See how smoothly that's going down? As a shade. They just lay nice and flat. Nice and flat. But I'm not trying to blend two colors together. I don't know enough about the less could over here. Not as much though. It's pretty smooth. But being on top of the marker, have you tried that yet, Janet? Have you tried using your polys on top of marker yet? Or, well, I was going to ask Eileen, but, Eileen's probably swatched them. So, what I'm saying is when I'm putting the shadow down, I'm not going to have to go in there with a lavender to try to blend them. It's laying down nice. Just on its own. Did you find? Yeah, she found them. Eileen found them. I saw Papermate in that link, so that she found those flares. Eileen, you're awesome. We love to do that to old Janet, don't we? The reason I bought my pots in the day was to use them over cocoa. Yeah, it's laying down real nice. It's not like in other words, if I was going to do shading on top of alcohol markers with, say, Prisma, I'd have to do this and then feather it with the lighter color to get rid of any pencil line. But this is laying down pretty nice. I don't think I'm going to have to, let's see if it even makes a difference. Not a lot, because this color is almost the exact same color as the Copic. That's why I picked it. But no, it's fine. I don't think I'm going to need to do that. I just put the shadow in. We'll try it on another color, like the gray. It's lighter. Might be able to tell more difference. The flares are $35 on Amazon. I think they were $25 at Walmart. Or as Janet calls it, the Walmarts. So I didn't get them. I'm thinking, well, I at least got to try to see if they're at Michael's or Hobby Lobby with the coupon. Can y'all see the difference between this and this? See where I put the shading in there and none over here? I think one of the issues I had with Prismas, you're so used to, yeah, see, you're used to the polys. I'm used to the Prismas. So it's like, it is a learning curve when you switch from the wax-based to these oil-based, you know. But I'm liking it. I mean, it's fine over here on top of the marker. Plus, I got a couple books I want to read. Yeah. What suffers the most with doing so much art is my reading. My, like, fiction, and I mean, I still do research, and I do quite a bit of reading on, not a lot of fiction though. I really don't read much fiction at all anymore. But you know, I got the new Dan Brown, and I got a couple others. One that Denise from New Jersey recommended for me that I've had for a couple months now. And so I really do need to do some catch up on reading. So if y'all have any questions or comments, just put them in caps so I know you're talking to me. And just lightly doing the shadows here and there. It's just so, for me, I think it's just so much more, for me, fun and faster to base coat your pages, whether it's with marker, watercolor, acrylic paint, whatever you use as a background or as a base coat. It just, then when you go to put your pencils on it, whatever kind you use, it's just so much quicker and more fall out of order. Okay, don't freak. It's okay. I'm going to pet them back into the tray here so they don't roll away. So I'm going to just start doing some shading here. And we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm on top of alcohol markers. And very, very, very light pressure. And you can see it's going down nice. Maybe you can see. Can you see that? Y'all let me know what you can see and what you can't, because I can readjust things. So I'm just going to shade. And, you know, on these color books, there's usually line art, you know, or grayscale, that you can kind of see where the artist did their own shading. So you have a guideline to kind of follow. Hey, Elk Lady, it's been a while. So I'm just going to get in here and do a little shade. I'm not having any pressure, not putting any pressure. It's just going right nice. It's going right nice on top of the alcohol markers. So I just want to get a little bit of shading in there. You'll see that? I don't even know that I'm going to need another lighter color right at this moment. I think just this color is doing fine with what I've already got down. And then on Monday, I think we have plans to work in the, and I didn't get a chance to show, I talked about showing the napkin journal on Wednesday, but I didn't get time. We ran out of time. To show the napkin journal that we work in. I mean, most of you guys here have seen it. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, thanks for watching. There's a live chat with Mostly Awake chat. I do stream early, especially if it's people like on the West Coast. I stream 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday and Wednesday, and the occasional Friday. This being one of those occasional Fridays. So thanks for watching if you're watching the recording. So back to the napkin journal. So everybody's asking me to do a fall, Halloween, or some kind of a October page in the napkin journal. And it has been some weeks, maybe couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months since we worked in the napkin journal. Thanks, 3G, and good morning, by the way. So if I can remember and have, because I get carried away on one project and, I forget about showing something else. But we're going to work on that on Monday. So I'm just adding some shading in here on top of the purple. Still keeping a lot of the lavender color from the marker. So I thought this would just be one. This is one that I've been working on, just base coating with the alcohol marker. And I say alcohol markers as not just saying Copics, because I'm not using just Copics. I'm using Hoo Hoo Hero, Blick, any old alcohol marker in my color book here. So, and if you didn't see, I'm working in Irene. So, if y'all have any questions or want to talk about what y'all are going to do this weekend, any projects you're working on, I have a lot on my list. I have Post-it notes. Oh, and I do got to tell you this. I do have an idea for the new year. I wanted to tell y'all about it, but I thought, no, I can't because it's too, then I'll start wanting to do it. And I want it to be a New Year project, like 2018 project. So, that being said, I do have a 2018 project in the works. So, I even have a name for it. I don't know if I want to tell y'all the name, because it's still a couple months away. Well, actually, November, December. Yeah, it's like two and a half months away till the new year. Can y'all believe that already? It's already getting to almost to be Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the new year. You're going to Florence, as in Italy? Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. Bam! I'm Dee Dee, and this morning I'm going to be working in Irene by Nicholas, and I never can say his real name, Chandrawinata. I know that's not right. He goes by Nick Filbert. Nick Filbert is what he goes by on IG and any place online. But anyway, so this is my new book by him that Melody sent. And I've already base coated everything with markers, with alcohol markers. I have Copics, Hoo Hoo Heroes, Blick, all different alcohol markers, but these are the colors. I have a yellow and a gold kind of color. And again, I'm going to, probably any place that it's gold, I'll probably put some either stickle, shimmer, glitter, something on the gold. Her face is done with, I have all the set, well actually I think I have 2 sets of the Copic Chow skin tones. The set, this is more than just the one set. But you can get a set of skin tones at Michael's and use a 40% off coupon. So her skin's with these. And then the green is two hoo-hoos in a just kind of a emerald green and a lime green. I'm not going to tell you all, because unless you have all these different brands, I'm just going to kind of generalize it. I got 2 cool grays here for the grays, but I've only used just the light one, kind of a blue gray. I think it's called green gray for the back of the gray you see, and then 2 purples. a lavender, and a deep purple. And that's what you see with the purple. So I got them all base coated. So what I'm going to do is start shading with, and I've already started shading a little bit of blue around her eyes. But that's pretty much it. Maybe a little bit on her edge of her skin here. I got a little bit of blue, a gray blue. And so I'm going to be playing with the Polychromo set to just look at all the loveliness and to get used to them, because I want to really learn how to use them well. And I've only used, I have a couple of individuals that I've had for a while, but never really messed with them. And that's cute, Muse. And so I'm going to just set these to the side. I'll tell you what colors I use as I pick them, but I don't really do that very well. The reason I don't do color names and numbers, for one, it's hard to see them without a magnifying glass for me. So every time I'd switch pencils, I'd have to, like here's some purples we're going to use. So, I'd have to get out a magnifying glass. Some of them are easy to see when they're gold color on the dark, but some of them are light color on light pencils. I cannot see that. I can't read that. It's too light. And so I'm not going to stop and tell you every time I use a pencil what color it is and what number it is. I just can't do that. It won't be fun for me. So, sorry. But anyway, so I have a little sheet here where it's my cardstock to protect, because this is alcohol markers that will go through. Okay. So I have a little sheet here to test colors on. And that's probably not quite red enough. Let's see. That one's better. And they are a harder pencil. They're oil-based, and so it's going to be a learning curve for me to shade and blend and layer these. So, we'll see how it goes. All right, so I want this color, and do I want the kind of maybe a medium? Let's see, do I want this one? Probably. See, I'm already feeling the difference just doing this. Okay, so those are the two purples that I'm going to start with to start layering some shading. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we're a little closer on the and she's the right color, although my skin is way tan. But anyway, so at least you can see the coloring. That's the important thing. All right, so I'm going to start with these. Uh-oh, my pencils just all fell out of the tray. That means it's time to put them in a pencil case. They're now this weekend, Francis. I'm not sure where you are. You must be in Europe then. I can't remember. Leah wants to finish her portrait you've been working on for it too long. Who's it a portrait of? So I'll try to back up on the pencil so you can kind of see where I'm going here. Because there's no pressure at all. No pressure, very light. Italy. You're in the UK. Okay, well, fun. Take lots of pictures to share. Francis, are you on Twitter or IG or something so we can see pictures you share? So all the little line cross-hatching that Nick Filbert put on here, I'm just kind of going along and following his shading and shading with the purple on top. See, no pressure, guys. I mean, it's like this. Look, I'm just doing like that. And the marker is picking it up just fine. Hey, Dot. I'm drawing a Japanese musician. Second time already I'm practicing with him. Oh, fun, Leah. Lena did a little Abby of me. I need to, I wish my phone would pick up when I put it under the camera, it just flashes out. Even when I put right light and all that, I don't know. It's almost like I have to have it on the iPad, and then sometimes that's even a strain. Janet said, after Francis goes to Italy, I guess my trip to the Walmarts is just no big deal. Oh my gosh, Janet. Janet, but they do have, the Walmart does have those flare pen markers, flares. You know what flares are. In the new, like, ice cream colors or whatever that's called, pop something. I forgot. But I wanted to tell you about it, but I didn't want to buy it because they were $25. They were $25. I mean, if they were at, Hobby Lobby, and they may be, I have to look around. If they're at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, where I could use a 40% off coupon, but $25 for some flare markers? Isn't that a little high? Is it just me? I haven't bought a flare for so long. But they did have them over in the school supply section. Can y'all see that little bit of shading in there? Or do I need to zoom in even more? I don't know. I'm doing tiny bits here. You're going with frozen pizza today, Janet? I don't know. I might want, my favorite's Pizza Hut. Deep dish, pan, double pepperoni, jalapeno peppers on the side, bell peppers on it. Hubster likes, we usually do a half and half because he likes other things like hamburger and mushroom. I don't want all that. I just want give me some double pepperoni and some pepper. Hey, Army Linda. You have the multiple sets of the flares. You do love them. Well, the pop colors. I forgot what they're called, pop or ice cream or something like that. They're new colors. They're at Walmart. Just saying. So if you go to the Walmarts, go over there and look for them, Janet. You'll be enticed. And and I'm not even Eileen. Enabling you. Okay, so kind of liking that up in here. So I'm just going to kind of come on down here into her outfit. Hey, Crusty Brush. How you doing? So I'm going to just keep shading here on the purple with the... And what I'm finding here is it's not leaving on top of the marker. I'm not seeing a lot of pencil lines. So it's like I'm not even going to really have to blend this, I don't think. I mean, it's just kind of laying down really flat for me. With Prismas, you have to kind of blend them together. But right now, just laying a shadow on top of this purple, I can't see the pencil line. Now, I probably